Hey guys, um, it's been a little while since I've done a video blog and I thought I would give it a try. Um, as you know, the last several years have been difficult. So much tragedy and so much pain has happened. Um, so much loss and sickness. And this year probably has been um, one of the worst ones for a while, to be completely honest with you. Um, in that maybe it wasn't that it's been the worst. Maybe it's that so much has gone on and so much pain has happened that my heart's just tired, emotionally speaking. My mind has been so heavy. And ever since May, I've been really struggling. And I've tried really hard to do the best that I can to work through everything. I went through counseling again to try to get assistance with the complex grief and the complex post-traumatic stress syndrome. And it helped some. It helped some in validating to me that I'm not crazy, that these extreme emotions and feelings that I have are valid and they mean something, you know, because I love so deeply, because of the type of person that I am on the inside. And my counselor was amazing this time around. I've done grief counseling before, and this one is was a little bit different. And you know, I really appreciate her because she was somebody that was completely out of the situation. Um, she isn't a friend. She isn't anyone that knew anything about my life that I didn't tell her, and it was so refreshing having someone disconnected from it completely. Someone that didn't have preconceived notions that, oh, she's being dramatic, or oh, she's being crazy, or oh, she's cussing again because she's angry. She never treated me like that. She never made me feel one time that me ranting, for lack of a better word, because it's not what I do, it's sharing, but me sharing the pain whenever it comes up, because I've called it bubbles for a while because I could just feel it like a storm inside of me, building and building and building, and more hits come and more loss happens and more brokenness happens and more pain and more sickness, and that bubble will just come out. And when it does, it explodes, and then I explode. And I used to beat myself up about those bubbles. I used to think, well, what are people going to think of me? I run a nonprofit, I work with children, you know, I go to church, I believe in God, what, it doesn't matter what you think of me. For so long, I was so concerned about expressing my grief in the right way that I inhibited myself from healing because I was so worried, and I was being told by friends that were in my life at that time. I was being told, oh, well, you shouldn't say cuss words like that, or maybe it's time to heal, or, have faith. You know what? They're not in my life for more than one reason. Most of them because they were too weak to handle the truth, and they want to live in a rose-colored glass world. And I'm sorry to tell you, Sweet Pea, that is not how this world is, especially not in 2022. So, in the beginning, I was mad as hell when they walked out on me, you know, and when they walked out on me, I was even madder when other people that knew them continued speaking to them and interacting with them. And I let the anger of that boil inside of me to where I felt so betrayed by people that are still in my life when they're still speaking to someone who can walk away from me or anyone else that had tragically lost their husband, had been diagnosed with an awful disease that subsequently got more diagnosis of other diseases, and also mix in Gabriel and all of his stuff. And anyone who says you're friends or family that walks away from someone when they are dying on the inside has zero respect for me. And for so long, I didn't say anything to anybody about them leaving, you know. For so long, I kept thinking, something's wrong with me. They left because of me. You know what? They did not leave because of me. They left because it was time for them to go because they no longer served a purpose. And I thought I was past losing people, you know, because that happened after Dave passed away. Because I realized a lot of, you know, people in certain portions of the community were there because they were Dave's friends, and that was his major interests, and also because they couldn't see me broken and hurting. Whenever a deep tragedy happens like that, sometimes it rips people apart and they can't deal with it and they have to walk away. And I healed past that, you know, and I was going through grief counseling in the beginning, and then I went through therapy another time to try to help with that, along with spiritual counsel and actual friends and family counsel. My mom, my brother have always been there, always being there, fiercely protective and loving. I have the best brother and mom ever, like the best, and my precious children. You know, and I healed past that, and I was finally, thank God, able to get past some of that deep-seated pain that horrible grief caused. I mean, I lost who I was, and the people who are still in my life that knew me back then knows that I'm not the same person, and I'm finally okay with that being that way. I'm finally okay with realizing people change. Tragedy changes people. You may look all pretty and flowery on the internet and your social media sites, but if you've lost something, someone, or developed a major sickness, I'm not talking about a anti-inflammatory condition, I'm talking about a major sickness on the level of cancer, multiple sclerosis, life-altering, true illnesses change people. We become so good at sticking on that mask. Be like, hey guys, how are you today? We're doing blah, blah, blah. When inside, we are completely shattered. I went to church today for the first time in a long time. I listen to it every day. I listen to the word every day. I listen to my worship music because that's an important part to me. You know, people have ignorance, not calling you ignorant, but ignorance pertaining to a Christianity walk. I consider myself multiple things, but I have one God. Period. End of story. I don't judge you for your beliefs. And I have not gotten anyone in my actual life to judge me for mine, because I have people in my life that believe multiple things, and I love every single thing about them. And every single thing that they believe, I respect. And I get the same back. And I'm so blessed by that, because so many people get chastised, and their ignorance treats people stupidly because they fly under this flag or that flag, or wear or don't wear or act or don't act. I don't give a rat's ass about any of that. You know what I look at when I see people? That. Because right here, this organ means more to me in a person than your status, your race, your religion, your creed, what you want to be called. If you are a true and loving person, then I have time for you. God has removed probably all, at this point. There might be one or two hiding that I don't know about. People that are not there to truly love me for me. I've gone through enough, and I don't tolerate ignorance anymore. I don't tolerate toxic, narcissistic friends that gaslight you. Removed another person out of my life months ago that was that type of human, because I finally, even after giving him second chances, I finally was shown by other people in my life the way that they were speaking to me. They were projecting their ignorance and their narcissistic behavior onto me, and it was making me sick. And I don't need any more sickness. But like I said, I went to service for the first time today, and I went a place that I'd never been before. And it was weird because, to be honest, I'd never thought about going here before because I hadn't thought about it. I'd been burned by the church in the past. This is a true story by multiple people that I know. Just remember that what I just said. People's actions do not always line up with who God really is. So I've been hurt in church before, multiple times. I was not raised a Christian. My dad was so anti-Christian it wasn't even funny. But I went today because I woke up this morning, and I've been struggling really badly for quite some time, for months. It started in May when Gabriel died in front of me. Watching your child go through that, I can hear what he said to me as he faded out, and them rushing me out of the room and the entire room exploding, codes being called and people working on him, and watching machines keep him alive. Literally. Over 70 blood products, 6 surgeries, having the chaplain called and telling, you know what, we're going to do his last rites because he's not going to make it. That does something to you. And not only does that do something to me as a mom, that was triggering massive PTSD. Because I've been through horrible things with Dave, and some of the sounds, like, I can hear the sounds, and some of the smells, they don't leave. They just linger. And it triggered all of that. And so when it happened, that made me get triggered really, really badly. I hate saying that, so stupid. But the triggers are real. And I've been in a cycle since May. And it's been very difficult. And I've had to push myself to do every single event. Make every single thing I've made. Everything inside of me wanted to just shut myself up inside of my bedroom and check out from reality again. I did that before. I lost 2 years of my life mentally, and according to what the medical professionals and the mental health professionals say, that my body has selective amnesia. And it's because those moments in those 2 years after Dave died, I have very few memories. I only have small flashes of things I don't even have full memory. I couldn't tell you. Like, it's not there. It doesn't exist. And I've tried to talk with several people about it on a mental health professionals. And finally, my last counseling services, she said you have selective amnesia, and it's very, very common in people who have severe PTSD, complex PTSD, or who have survived or been in a horribly tragic occurrence. Because I thought I was nuts, y'all. I was like, what the hell? I can't remember 2 years. I have very few memories from April of 2016 until the beginning ish, April, May of 2018. I don't even remember much of anything from 2018 in the beginning until May. And after that, there's a little more. And in 2019, I started kind of getting some memories back. And by that time, I was already diagnosed with this horrid disease, and I had already been to the Mayo Clinic and all the stuff that went on. But I went to church today. One of my volunteers goes to this church. It's a very small church. I prefer that. I'm fine if you like mega church, cool. I'm fine if you don't like church at all, cool. I can't change that, and I'm not going to try because it's not my job. But I went today because I literally woke up this morning and I felt so empty, and I have been feeling so empty, and I could feel the nothing, as you guys know that have known me for a while through this walk. I called the grief the nothing, like in the never-ending story, because to me, it feels like I'm that rock biter and I'm trying to escape this black nothing that is taking everything out and leaving nothing behind but pain and emptiness. And that's what I felt like for a long time, for many years now. But I'd started feeling that again in June after Gabriel had been home for the second time from all the bleeding and the massive surgeries. And we had gotten the genetic testing back and got told that he was diagnosed with the same genetic pancreatic condition that David had. And it flagged on a familial side from my side and David's side. And I woke up this morning and I just felt so empty. And you know what? To be honest with you guys, I've just been going through the motions. You know what? I wake up every day that God gives me, and I thank Him for another day. While I'm trying to move because it hurts, I've been forcing myself to move more because I refuse to be an invalid. Wondering if I'm going to walk upstairs. Scoot up there. And if I'm going to find my son breathing or not. I wake up and I have this pit in my stomach until I know that I can hear him breathing. And then I breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief. And this morning I was the same way that I've been that way for months, and especially since the last month. And I just could hear God say, you know, you should go to that church. I have something for you today. Okay. Whatever. Honestly, you know, I'm being completely honest. Okay, God, whatever. Okay, so I went. It's a tiny church. I love that. I like small, close-knit things because I've lost so much. I don't need all the lights and all the noise and all the people who don't know you and who don't care to know you and just walk past you and not say hi. I went in there and there's probably about 20, 22 people all together as a whole, and every person said hi to me. And they were so happy to see me there, and you could see that it wasn't this fake church. Hey, how you doing today, sister? It was, hi, my name is blah blah blah, it's so nice to see you, welcome. And I felt so welcome. I felt so welcome. And every word that was spoken in truth and reality, not religiosity or any of this garbage. I can't stand religious spirits. And what do you know that this pastor talks about? Is loss. And what that does to you. And it blew me away. It was shared with real emotion and plainly spoken. And I needed it. I know that there is more of a reason why I've won. I don't know yet. But I know God will reveal it to me in time, but I'm sitting here remembering because I used to do these blogs all the time, as you guys know that bother watching them. I used to do them all the time. I used to share every step of the grief that I could. And when I got diagnosed, I shared the different days that I would have with the multiple sclerosis and the polyneuropathy and the dysautonomia and all this other garbage. And I stopped. I stopped because of people in my life at that time were making comments about, oh, I shouldn't be posting angry, or I shouldn't be crying about this, or I shouldn't be saying cuss words. You know what? That is what is wrong with this world. You need people to understand that you are only human. You are only human. And the reason why people like me, there are other people like me, men and women, and teens and kids. They are stuck inside of their self, hurting so bad, where some of them take their life because they just can't take it anymore. Because so many people have made them feel unimportant, or to tell them, you shouldn't react this way, or you shouldn't act this way, or you shouldn't say this. You know what? Yes, you should. Get mad. You know what? Get pissed the fuck off. If you need to get that out, get that out. You cannot heal if you don't walk through the steps. Staying locked up inside of yourself when you are struggling, when you are hurting so bad that you literally want to take your life, is going to cause you to do just that. You are important. What you are going through is valid, and it means something. Find someone to reach out to that you know is going to listen to you, whether that be a friend, a family member, or a medical professional, or a counselor, or a spiritual counselor, or whatever religion you serve. Find someone. Find someone. You are important. You have something to do on this earth that nobody else can do. You are called to be whatever it is in your life that you are called to be, and only you can do that job. Only you can do that job. No one else can do it. So if you're gone, there's a hole. There's a hole that no one else can fill. And they're never going to be able to fill it. Because it's meant for you. And that's something else that I received today. I am called. Me. In the condition that I'm in, with the medical struggles that I have, with the mental health struggles that I have, I'm called to do what I do. And I've been struggling a lot with that. This year's been pretty hard. From my nonprofit's perspective, I've really felt so disconnected from the community, and I feel like the outreach hasn't been there as much as it could have been. Normally we get a lot more support, and this year it's just seemed like I've really had to fight tooth and nail. Let's just say, for example, our toy drive. Normally by this time of year, tons of people have donated toys and blankets to us. And right now I've only gotten 3 people. 3 guys. These toys and blankets are desperately needed. Not only do they help us with our hospice children in December and our hospital visits, they give us that booster that we need for the first couple of months for next year to help those calls that we always get. Those text messages, hey Dawn, I have this child. They are this age. They're on hospice. They can't do the Make-A-Wish because they're too sick. Could you please help me? Could you help me bring them joy? Could you help me fill a literal dying child's wish? Not only do we fill their wish, we give them a memory that their family treasures for the rest of their lives. And if they have siblings, we take toys and blankets to their siblings to make sure that they don't feel left out because they're losing this person that they love too. So these toy drives and these fundraisers are vitally important, but I've just not felt the support this year, to be honest with you. I don't really know what's wrong because we still are the same and we still do what we're called to do, but the support hasn't been there, internally or externally, and I'm just going to chalk it up to it's the economy, but there are programs out there that do toy drives every year that are big and they're corporate funded and they get hundreds and thousands of toys and hundreds and thousands of dollars. They're as worthy, but I would suggest finding a small one that needs help like us and other ones in town where you know how vitally important your gifts are, because they are literally that vitally important. I guess I just want to end this with saying thank you to those who actually care. Believe me, I see you, and I know who you are. I'm not going to ever apologize for sharing my truths. As you guys say nowadays, I'm old-fashioned, so whatever. But I'm not going to apologize for sharing my truth. I'm not going to apologize for saying an ugly word if that's the pain that needs to come out, because it has nothing to do with the type of person I am, in that it only represents the pain that I'm suffering with. And if my pain and what I've gone through and am going through right now can help one person realize you matter, please do not give up. Please do not give up. If no one else will be there for you, message me. Because I know what it's like to bury the love of your life. To watch it shatter your children into a million pieces. I know what it's like to be that mom. Watching their child fight for their life and not knowing if they're going to wake up another day. I know what it's like to be that patient and getting the horrible diagnosis that you never thought would be you. Why me? So you are not alone, and I promise you are very loved. Reach out. Don't give up.